On July 1st, 2012, 24-year-old Megan Sharpton was planning to spend the evening with her family. But just hours before they were supposed to meet, she got a phone call from an unknown man. He offered her a job caring for his elderly grandmother and set up an interview for that very evening. Megan told her mother she'd head straight home right after the meeting. She never made it. Around 1:30 a.m., two teenagers spotted a fire along a deserted road in Tennessee. When firefighters put out the flames, they found the body of a young woman. Investigators quickly realized the crime had been meticulously planned. A burner phone, a fake address, an attempt to burn the body, the killer had done everything to ensure he'd never be found. But the deeper police dug into the investigation, the more the small details began to come together. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and let's break down this case step by step. The city of Tullahoma, Tennessee, is a place where nearly everyone knows each other by face. It's a quiet, cozy town far removed from any major metropolis, living its own measured life. Erika Megan Sharpton was 24 years old. All her close friends and family simply called her Megan. She was an ambitious, hard-working, and exceptionally cheerful young woman. Megan was attending nursing school just 2 months away from earning her degree. To pay for tuition and support herself financially, she juggled 2 jobs, working as a waitress at a local steakhouse and caring for the elderly at a nursing home. Megan had a boyfriend named Chris, whom she had lived with for 3 years, and big plans for the future. On July 1st, 2012, Megan was planning to spend the evening with her family. Her sister had come into town, and the young woman's mother, Kelly Sharpton, was waiting for her daughter to join them for a family dinner. However, in the late afternoon, plans changed. Megan called her mother and excitedly announced that an urgent side job had come up. An unknown man had offered her a job caring for his elderly grandmother. The interview was set for that very evening, and the client had promised to pay for the work in advance if both sides were satisfied with the meeting. For a young woman striving to gain as much healthcare experience as possible, the offer seemed perfect. Megan promised her mom that she would head straight to her family right after the meeting. But an hour passed, then 2, and Megan didn't show up. Calls to her cell phone went unanswered. By midnight, the family and Chris's concern had turned into full-blown panic. July 2nd, 2012, around 1:30 a.m. A dry, hot summer night. 2 teenagers were driving down Awalt Road, a remote, uninhabited road in Franklin County. There were no residential houses in the area. The only landmarks were a small church half a mile away and a bridge. It was not a place where anyone would stop for no reason. Suddenly, through the trees, the teenagers noticed flames. Thinking a forest fire was starting, they immediately called emergency services. When the firefighters and sheriff's deputies arrived, they began putting out the flames, assuming someone had thrown a lit cigarette or left a campfire behind. But as soon as the fire was extinguished, a gruesome scene opened up before the responders. In the epicenter of the fire lay the body of a young woman, Megan Sharpton. Her body was lying by the side of the road. There was no car and no personal belongings at the scene, no ID, no keys, no purse, no cell phone. She was unclothed from the waist down. The nature of the injuries and the position of the body indicated that she was already dead by the time the fire was set. The young woman's skull was fractured by a heavy object. The head trauma was exceptionally brutal. The police had no information on the victim's identity. No missing person reports matching the description had been filed in the county yet. The only clues were a nursing school t-shirt and several distinctive tattoos. Specifically, a tattoo of stars on her ankle and another star on her neck. In the morning, the police posted their first social media updates describing the features of the victim found. Kelly Sharpton saw the post on Facebook. Recognizing the description of the tattoos, the stars Megan had gotten in honor of her siblings, the mother realized the terrifying truth. It was her daughter.
Joining us now is Kelly Sharpton. I'm sure this has just been so difficult for you and your family. Our prayers go out to you. How did you find out what happened to your beautiful daughter?
I actually read a post on Facebook where they had described a girl with a star tattoo on the back of her neck and one on her foot, and I knew that it was her.
When was the last time you talked to your daughter, and what kind of mood was she in? I understand she was saying that she was going to go over and visit a family, correct?
Right. My other daughter was here from out of town, and she had just woken up at 3:45 that afternoon. She'd worked the late shift at the restaurant where she worked and was planning to come over after that. She said after she got her shower she would come on, and she didn't come. But we were under the understanding she had an interview with somebody to start sitting with an elderly lady, and so we just figured she had gone on and gone to that interview, but we lost track of her after that.
If somebody is out there listening tonight and they saw something, what would you like to say to them as you are desperately searching for clues for your daughter?
Just please, if you saw anything, even the smallest detail, please call the police, call TBI or Franklin County Sheriff's Department. They've been wonderful. They've kept us up to date. They've left no stone unturned. They've just been great, and please call. She was our daughter and our sister. We just miss her.
The town was thrown into shock. A girl with no enemies, no connection to crime, who worked around the clock, had been brutally murdered. Franklin County Sheriff Tim Fuller immediately told the press that the site where the body was found was almost certainly not the actual crime scene. Megan had been killed somewhere else and brought to Awalt Road solely to destroy the evidence using fire.
First it was a disbelief, like nobody wanted to believe that it was actually happening.
That reaction was pretty much universal at the Yamato Japanese Steakhouse in Tullahoma.
I was actually shocked.
Co-workers couldn't believe the news waitress Erika Sharpton, or Megan as they called her, was murdered.
We were all just shocked because she never seemed like she was in any kind of trouble.
Friends say Sharpton was a busy 24-year-old who was balancing this job with nursing school and another job at a nursing home.
To try and get out of the restaurant business and get into a better career field, where she can accelerate.
What they don't know is what happened to her Sunday night.
The young lady's body was over here.
Sheriff Tim Fuller says deputies discovered Sharpton's body in this grass on fire early Monday morning. After putting out the flames, they discovered evidence of trauma to her head.
It appears to us that she may have very well been murdered at another location and was literally dumped here to dispose of the body.
The investigation began by looking into Megan's closest circle. The first person to come under suspicion was her boyfriend, Chris. Their relationship hadn't always been smooth. Megan's family noted that the couple argued and broke up periodically. Chris claimed that he waited for Megan at home that night, and when she didn't return, he assumed she had stayed over at her mother's place. When detectives searched their shared apartment, they found traces of blood and syringes in the bathroom. Chris and his roommate, Robbie, were immediately brought in for questioning. However, that lead quickly fell apart. During interrogation, Robbie confessed that the syringes and blood belonged to him. He had been hiding a drug addiction from those around him, which neither Megan nor Chris knew about. As for Chris, his emotional state, his shock upon hearing the news of her death, and an ironclad alibi from work ruled him out as a suspect entirely. Robbie was checked as well. It turned out he and Megan had been having a secret affair, but a detailed analysis of his phone showed that he had been texting Megan continuously all night and morning, having no idea where she had disappeared to. His involvement was also ruled out. Meanwhile, 15 miles from where the body was found on Three Forks Bridge Road in Bedford County, police located a 1995 red Ford Mustang. It was Megan's car. The investigative team conducted a thorough search of the vehicle. There were no traces of blood inside, but on the seat they discovered a crucial piece of evidence, a handwritten note. It contained a specific address and directions: 850 Shelfer Road. Detectives immediately headed to the address, only to hit a dead end. 850 Shelfer Road didn't exist. It was a fake address. Someone had lured Megan to a deserted area, having planned the trap in advance. During a follow-up interview with Chris, a key detail surfaced. He remembered that on the day of Megan's disappearance, an unknown man had called her second phone. The caller was looking for a caregiver for his grandmother and stated that a girl named Naomi had given him her number. Naomi? Megan did indeed know someone by that name. They had attended nursing school together the previous year. At the same time, panic began to spread through the local media. 6 months earlier, just 130 miles from Tullahoma, 20-year-old Holly Bobo had vanished under mysterious circumstances. She was also a nursing student. The press picked up the narrative. Was a serial killer operating in the state, specifically targeting nursing students? The atmosphere in the county grew intensely tense. Investigators located Naomi, Megan's former classmate, but speaking with her only raised more questions. Naomi was genuinely shocked. She told detectives that she had never recommended Megan for any job. Furthermore, the two barely knew each other. They had only carpooled to class a couple of times. Naomi firmly stated that she had not given Megan's number to anyone. Detectives once again hit a brick wall. Soon after, the results of Megan's autopsy came back. The medical examiner's report revealed horrific details about the final minutes of the young woman's life. Megan had been subjected to severe sexual assault. She had been brutally beaten, suffering heavy blunt force trauma to the skull, likely inflicted by the handle or stock of a firearm. But the head injuries were not the cause of death. Megan had been killed by a gunshot wound to the cheek. Megan's mother, Kelly, made a public plea through the press to District Attorney Mike Taylor, begging him to expedite the investigation. The family was dying of grief while the killer walked the streets.
Needs with law enforcement to catch our daughter's killer before she says someone else gets hurt. Good evening, I'm Kim Chapman.
And I'm Calvin Sneed. The murder of Megan Sharpton happened in Franklin County back in July. The murder left her family devastated and on edge, knowing her killer is still out there somewhere.
I wake up in the morning with the horrible realization that my daughter is dead and she's never coming back.
Megan Sharpton was brutally murdered on July 2nd after she was lured to a home. She was raped several times and beaten. Her body was found burning on the side of the road in Franklin County. District Attorney Michael Taylor is overseeing the case.
The investigation is continuing, and hopefully we will have a successful outcome in the near future.
While the murderer walks free, her family is left with a gaping hole. Kelly talks about her son's connection with Megan.
Really valued her and went to her for most of his advice and needs, and he's been devastated.
Sadness and grief have overcome the mother of 4 who promised to support her children through college. Megan would be graduating from nursing school on October 26th.
I have to accept her diploma for her, and that will be joyous, but it will break my heart because it should be her.
The Sharptons are pleading for District Attorney Taylor to speed up the process and make an arrest in the case so no other woman get hurt.
12 weeks had passed since the murder. The investigation was moving slowly until Chris handed over Megan's second, older cell phone, which had been left at home. It was that phone which had received the fateful call with the job offer. Investigators gained access to the caller's number. As expected, the number belonged to an unregistered prepaid burner phone. Officers began the painstaking work of tracing the history of the device. They managed to pinpoint the location where it was purchased. The phone had been bought at a local store in Tullahoma shortly before the crime. Detectives seized the store's security footage. The video clearly shows a man purchasing a prepaid phone. On the footage, he can be seen placing his personal cell phone on the counter at the moment of payment. It was obvious. The buyer was deliberately purchasing an unregistered secondary phone so it couldn't be traced. The cameras captured the man leaving the store and getting into a red pickup truck. Police quickly identified the man in the video as Timmy Gifford, a low-level local drug dealer. Upon his arrest, Timmy didn't try to deny it and immediately began cooperating with the investigation. He explained that he had already given the pickup truck to his brother Paul, and that he had bought the burner phone at the request of a buddy of his who had recently undergone surgery and allegedly couldn't walk to the store himself. As payment for the favor, the friend gave Timmy some of his pain medication. Furthermore, Timmy recalled a strange detail. After buying the phone, his friend texted him offering to trade his pickup truck for a Mustang passenger car. Timmy was surprised, as the friend had a large family with kids and the pickup was much more practical. When handing over the truck, Timmy noticed that the interior upholstery and carpet had been completely replaced. The owner explained that his wife told him to fix up the interior before selling it. The buddy, who had made Timmy buy the burner phone and then so hastily gotten rid of the pickup with the replaced interior, was named Donnie Frank Jones Jr., and his wife's name was Naomi Jones. The puzzle fell into place. Naomi Jones was the very same classmate of Megan's with whom she used to carpool to class. Donnie Jones was her 37-year-old husband. Donnie was well known to local law enforcement. His record included 21 felony convictions, including burglary, forgery, and armed assault. Additionally, Donnie occasionally acted as a police informant. Detectives immediately drove to the Joneses' home. During his initial interrogation, Donnie claimed he didn't know Megan Sharpton at all. However, when investigators pressed him, he abruptly changed his story. Donnie remembered that he had driven Megan to class once or twice along with his wife. As for the night of the murder, Donnie claimed he was at home with his children and categorically denied the story about the burner phone. To project confidence, Donnie gave permission himself for a home search and voluntarily provided a DNA sample for analysis, claiming he had nothing to hide. The tension was rising. While the DNA samples were undergoing lab testing, the graduation ceremony for the nursing program took place at the college. Megan's 18 classmates honored her memory. The seat where Megan was supposed to sit was left empty. Her mother, Kelly, accepted Megan's registered nurse diploma with an aching heart. Soon, the results arrived from the National DNA Database, CODIS. The DNA sample from Donnie Jones Jr. was a complete match with the evidence collected from the rape kit taken from Megan's body. Donnie was brought in for questioning again. When investigators confronted him with the irrefutable DNA evidence, the criminal changed his story on the fly once more. Now he claimed that he and Megan had been having a secret, consensual sexual relationship that they kept hidden. Since proving sexual assault based solely on that statement was legally challenging at that exact moment, police were forced to temporarily release Donnie. But detectives had no intention of giving up. Donnie was a convicted felon who was strictly prohibited by law from possessing firearms. Police received an operational tip that he owned guns. This provided a legal basis for a search warrant and Donnie's immediate arrest for illegal firearm possession. 4 months after Megan's death, experts completed their analysis of the remaining evidence. The weapon. Ballistics testing determined that the bullet recovered from Megan's body had been fired from a rifle belonging to Donnie Jones. Cell tower and GPS data. Mobile carriers provided detailed call logs and location records. On the night of the crime, the burner phone and Donnie's personal phone moved completely in tandem. Cell towers tracked their movement through 3 key locations: the site where Megan was abducted, the family farm belonging to Donnie's relatives, and finally, Awalt Road, where the body was set on fire. The crime scene. On the grounds of the Jones family farm, investigators discovered a partially burned scarf that belonged to Megan. It was there that she had been killed. An analysis of the burner phone revealed an even more chilling fact. Before calling Megan, Donnie had dialed the numbers of several other women. All of them worked in healthcare or elder care in one way or another. Donnie was literally hunting, systematically calling potential victims. Remembering Megan, whom he had crossed paths with a year prior, he used his wife Naomi's name to lower the young woman's guard, lure her to a non-existent address, and set a trap. Donnie's wife, Naomi, had a solid alibi. She was at work on the night of the murder and had no connection to the crime. No connection was found between Donnie and the Holly Bobo case either. Other individuals were later arrested in the Bobo case. On November 5, 2012, a Franklin County grand jury officially indicted 37-year-old Donnie Frank Jones Jr. on charges of 2 counts of especially aggravated kidnapping, 2 counts of especially aggravated rape, and first-degree murder. Donnie faced the death penalty.
On Tuesday, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office charged 37-year-old Donnie Jones with Megan's rape and murder.
A lot of the things that they had shared with me make me know that this is the right person. Then when I started hearing how it all fell together, I had no doubt.
Hearing the charges against Jones and seeing him locked behind bars gives Sharpton a sense of satisfaction for her daughter and the community.
But she's filled my life with so much joy for 24 years. I'll just take that with me and try to learn from this experience.
Donnie Jones has 21 previous felony convictions ranging from forgery to aggravated assault. He had been in jail on an unrelated charge, and he now faces 2 counts each of kidnapping, rape, and murder. He's due back in court on November the 16th.
At the initial court hearings, he pleaded not guilty and even whispered to his relatives from the defense table, "I didn't do it." However, facing irrefutable evidence, the DNA match, the rifle ballistics, and the GPS data, Jones's defense realized that a death sentence was inevitable. In February 2013, Donnie Jones Jr. took a plea deal. In exchange for removing the death penalty from consideration, he pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. Judge Curtis Smith sentenced Donnie Jones Jr. to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Jones later attempted to withdraw his guilty plea, claiming that his attorney had pressured him and that his wife had been threatened. The court reviewed his petition and denied it, upholding the original sentence. The court sentence brought legal closure, but it could not heal the wounds of her loved ones. Megan's sister, Carrie, later said, "If Megan hadn't given her life, Donnie Jones would have continued luring and killing young girls. Megan put him behind bars forever. She essentially saved others." But for Megan's mother, Kelly Sharpton, the loss proved unbearable. The pain of her daughter's brutal death and the nightmare of the investigation broke her emotionally. In November 2013, a year after Megan's death, Kelly Sharpton could no longer endure the grief and died by suicide. At the site where Megan was found on that dry July night in 2012, a 7-foot memorial stands today. It is decorated with 24 stars, 1 for each year of Megan's life, and a nod to the very star tattoos that helped a mother identify her daughter. Megan Sharpton is remembered by the people of Tullahoma as a bright individual striving toward her dreams, whose life was cut short by the cruel trap of a cold-blooded predator.